All
We are
right,
now live streaming.
we're official. Let's get this party started. So Dr. Lawson forgot to include that she's going to be driving the PowerPoint today too. So that's another thing you can add to your list of things you're doing. So I went back to look at when we started this process. I felt like we started back in August, but we only met for the first time on January 5th. So we've got a lot accomplished in a little amount of time. So I want to start with a thank you to all of you guys for all the hard work you did to pull this off. We're pretty close to the finish line now. For the most part, you guys are at the last stop, other than maybe boxing up some books and getting rid of those. And we'll find out down the road from ERMS what we need to do with those books. But Dr. Lawson, if you can go to the agenda, I'll go over quickly what the layout will be for today. We'll try. I don't anticipate it taking too much time. The bulk of what we're going to do today is going to be the community share. You guys, your committee members sharing which resource you selected. But other than that, I got about 10 minutes on data I want to share. We'll start out with looking at just the focus review data. You guys will get into your feedback. What I'm looking for from you is for you to share just your top choice, not your top two. Remember, we had you do your evaluations. You shared your top two. Here, just your top choice and a brief why. Why did your school lean towards this particular resource? And we were shooting for, if you remember the email I sent out, 30 seconds or less. Not that I have a timer over here, but just for the amount of people that we have on here, try to keep it clear and concise and to about 30 seconds or less. Then Dr. Lawson will put up our resource recommendation poll and we'll share the results and we'll be out of here. So next slide, please. All right, so I went back and forth with this. We're gonna dive straight into our focus review data. I initially had the initial review data in here, but I know you guys use that, or some of you use it as part of the focus review process, so I did not include that here. But what I wanted to point out to you all is that 16th day, that April 16th, we extended the window for our focus review a little bit intentionally because now we have all schools represented in our data, and that was important to us. So again, thank you guys for getting your data in. And that, again, is reflected in the slides we're going to look at next. So next slide, please. All right, so let's get you oriented to the layout of this slide. You may be familiar with these graphs. I lifted these straight from EdCredible. Today, we're going to focus on this response key. We're gonna look primarily at that blue box that exceeds expectations from our rubric. Also, what I wanted to point out to you as well is we're looking at the pie graphs from left to right. Those are going to stay the same from each slide. We're looking at Savvis on the far left, McGraw-Hill in the middle, and Discovery Ahead on the far right here. So we are not going over every component of the evaluation. I know you guys lived in there for a while, but I did want to draw your attention to content in particular. I included this slide because I felt like it was the linchpin of the work that we were doing in our evaluation. There are 5 categories that had 24 subcategories. This content piece had 7 subcategories, and it's the big one: alignment, complexity, accuracy. We don't know which package we'll have down the road for these textbook resources. So at worst, we know that all of the resources that we're looking at are as closely aligned to the content as possible. And that, to me, is primarily the most important of all of the other pieces. And just to jog your memory, those other components outside of content, we had support materials, differentiated instruction supports, assessment, and the digital platform. So included here is just the piece for content and that alignment. So if we look in the middle box here, McGraw-Hill came out on top from your evaluation rubric, and that's 34% says it exceeds expectations. That's in that blue box. And that's followed by your second place choice here, Savvis at almost 14% and Discovery Ed at almost 13%. So if you can go to the next slide, please. So the summary is kind of the aggregate of all of that data from all of those categories from the entire rubric. So looking at this here with the summary, just like the content piece before from McGraw-Hill, exceeds expectations, came in at 27%. That's far and away the higher of the 3, followed by Discovery Ed on this side for your second choice. And on the far left here, we have in third place, we have your Savvis, and that's exceeds expectations as it relates to the entire summary. So next slide, please. So it's kind of hard to see on the bottom right-hand corner. At the tail end of your evaluation, if you remember, you had one extra slide to rate the effectiveness of the overall resource. And so I look at this as more of, even though it's more of, it does give us quantifiable data, or quantitative data, I should say. This is more of a qualitative question, so to speak. So it's hard to read, so that's why I put the bullets there for the responses you were given. So after you completed the entire rubric, you were asked, what is your overall recommendation of these resources? So we had those four categories there. We had an excellent resource that was highly recommended. We had a good resource that was recommended, an adequate resource that was somewhat recommended, and an inadequate resource that we do not recommend. So the next slide, if you can go to the next one, please. So this shows us the aggregate again of all of that information. So far and away at the top was McGraw-Hill. At 52% of our respondents here on our committee said it is an excellent resource, highly recommended. That is followed by almost 18% for Discovery Ed and 14% for Savvas. So if you go to the next slide again for me, please. This is just another look at all of that data. At the top, across that top row, we have, I wanted to put them side by side. When I originally had the pie graphs on one page, it just was too much for the eyes. So I just put the data here on each slide. So if you wanted to take a look at how the two compared, if we look at that middle column there from McGraw-Hill, the top row there is from your summary reports. So exceeds expectation was the highest of the three from McGraw-Hill. We go down to that bottom row there, again, McGraw-Hill for that overall recommendation was far and away the highest at 52% of you said that it is an excellent resource. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys to see. We do have one more slide. If you can switch to the next slide for me. The last thing you guys were asked to do was rank these resources from start to finish. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read your comments popping up here. Top resource to your third resource, and not a surprise, just like all the other data says, McGraw-Hill is our top choice. So a big picture view of what the data said across the entire district rather than just siloed to your school. So next slide, I'm going to go into a little bit of how our share out's going to look. So I'm going to go through each school one by one. As I mentioned in the email, if you guys can limit your response to less than 30 seconds. Again, I don't have a timer over here. It doesn't have to meet 30 seconds, but if you can come on here, unmute yourself, and what I'll do is I'll call the school. You'll share, and then I'll thank you. We'll move on to the next school. What your top resource was that you're recommending, and the why. Why are you selecting it? And then we'll move from there. At the end, we're also going to have some time for our community members and our ESC or ESOL department to share any of their thoughts as well. And if I recognize with this many schools, we may have some of our choices repeated or some of our whys repeated, and that's okay. Don't feel like you need to come up with a new one. If we say, for argument, we like the resource because of the layout of the images, and somebody's already said that, feel free to share that. That's okay. That's entirely up to you. So if you guys don't have any questions for me, I am going to turn it over to you guys, and we're going to allow Crookshank to kick us off.
Mr. Zimmerman?
You are officially on the clock.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but I do have a community member that has to leave the meeting at 2:55. I don't know if you want him to share his response before that time.
What time? Yes, absolutely. I did not realize what time it was, so we can go right ahead and we'll start there.
One more thing, just so you know, we did have the representative from Southwoods join while you were speaking, so they will be added to the list of people. So just so you know, they are here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, this is Sherman. I don't have any feedback. Thank you all.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. All right, Crookshank, if you are there, you are officially on the clock now.
All righty. So Crookshank's top choice was the McGraw-Hill. We found that it was engaging and kid-friendly. They liked that the formatives and summatives were aligned with the Florida standards, and the standards were easily defined. And then also they liked the teacher support with the scoring rubrics.
All right, thank you. And I know Cunningham's not here. And part of the reason why we're going through this process too is just to get us all on the record. And here is an opportunity for us to kind of sway some minds too. If and I know that there seems to be a clear leader of the pack here, but this is an opportunity for all of us to share what we thought. So I'm going to move on to Durbin now. Durbin, you're up. I don't believe Cunningham joined us, so we're gonna move over to Durbin.
Hey, Durbin chose McGraw-Hill also. We liked that it had actual instructional text with it. We liked that it had the highlighted vocabulary. It was only one student book. And we liked the lesson reviews in there.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Hartley, you're up.
All right. So Hartley also chose McGraw-Hill. And our main reason was the complexity and alignment with the standards. We felt that the content from both the textbook as well as the test prep questions and the labs were rigorous enough for what we need to get our kids to that higher level of science thinking and getting them ready for the fifth grade summative at the end of the year.
Excellent. Thank you. Hickory.
Hi, this is Donna. So we also selected McGraw-Hill for a variety of reasons. Number one, the standards all aligned, which is so very important. Images and graphs were aligned, and teachers felt strongly that they were designed to engage and enhance the learning for the students. And they also commented on the instructional tiers, that they met the needs for students that were in MTSS or on level, ELL, or above. So they felt that it really catered to a wide variety of learners for them to differentiate.
Excellent. Thank you. RB Hunt.
Hi, this is Allison Basili, and Hartley, I'm just going to ditto what you said. That's about what we were thinking. We also voted McGraw-Hill. I guess one thing adding, our team also felt it was easy to navigate versus, Savas or something. You didn't have to dig deep. You just could get to where you needed to be from a teacher end. And then all the stuff that she talked about with differentiation, we really like that, the materials that were there.
Excellent. Thank you. And did I say Hunt there? I'm looking at my notes here. I'm trying to write down everything we said. We did
You said
Hunt.
Hunt, RB.
I did.
RB.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Now Julington.
Hi, this is Christy Wilson from Julington. We agree that the benchmarks were aligned, the great visual aids, and there were multiple features that allowed for various ways to access the information. And we also, voted for McGraw-Hill.
All right. Thank you. Catalinus.
Hey, this is Stephanie from Catalinas. Our committee they were very torn. We were super close with McGraw-Hill. We really liked McGraw-Hill, but then after the committee, dug deeper and talked to the lower grade levels, Savas for us was the selection by a hair. And I just remember my teachers and one of our community members said that they felt like there was just more resources to differentiate.
Excellent. Thank you. A side note, when I said Catalinus and Catalinas, and my wife gets on me for my New York accent, and I still get hung up on calling Luigi's brother Mario, and she says that's only New Yorkers call Mario, it's Mario. So I apologize for my pronunciation of that. Otis Mason, you're up next.
Good afternoon. This is Marie from Mason. Just like with Catalinas, our team was torn between McGraw-Hill and Savas. We picked Savas just because we thought that for families, it would be easier for them to navigate since we already have the ELA Savas. And the teachers also said if we had to go back to remote learning again, that would also make it easier. But otherwise, it was a strong tie between the two.
All right, thank you. Ocean Palms.
So we also went with Savvis, and the biggest reason was that it integrates well with our current reading and math curriculum as far as accessing things online, which causes an ease of access not only for our parents, but our teachers and students. We also liked how comprehensive the program was and appreciated all the included components.
Great, thank you. Osceola.
Hi, so our team selected McGraw-Hill. We felt as though McGraw-Hill was all encompassing. We really loved that it was visually appealing, and we felt as though it would get the students excited about their learning of science. We really liked the clarifications that aligned to our standards, and then the scaffolded suggestions provided. And after speaking with our 5th grade team, that interactive component would definitely be beneficial as well.
All right, thank you. Palencia.
Hi. So like some of the other schools that just spoke, Palencia was also very split. Our K through 2 teachers preferred Savvis, and our 3 through 5 teachers preferred McGraw-Hill. And as a team, after a lot of discussion and really listening to the upper grade teachers, because we felt the upper grades had more at stake, we were able to get a consensus and vote with McGraw-Hill. We really liked the in-depth material. The student book in particular was very well defined, and the information was easy for the kids we felt would be easy for the kids to look at. And we also really loved the partnership that they're having with Kahoot for aligning with lessons. We thought that was really great.
Excellent, thank you so much. Piccolata, you're up.
Hi. So we also agreed with we just listened to Palencia, and we were very split. Same reasons. K2 loved Savvy, and 3-5 loved McGraw-Hill. I think just based off of, we kind of decided like to kind of go with McGraw-Hill just because by just a hair, because we did like Savvy and how it like is already integrated with math and reading, which is great. However, when we looked at the books, I mean, if you look at the science test and the content, it aligned the best with the content that they see on the science test, with the item specs and all that. So the actual like textbook we liked better for McGraw-Hill.
Excellent, thank you. PV, you're up.
Hey, this is Betsy. It's funny, we're kind of in the same boat that it was kind of a pretty close one between Savvis and McGraw-Hill. We did end up choosing McGraw-Hill as our overall winner. And again, it was definitely the workbook for us. It just felt the most clear, the most the visuals we thought more engaging. Just the one book, we thought that the kids would enjoy that more. We felt it all aligned with the standards. We thought that the online seemed easy to navigate, not too overly complicated. We know sometimes on Savvis it does take like a very long time to get to where you need to go. It does feel but we did end up, but honestly they were pretty close, but we did end up going with McGraw-Hill.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Southwoods, you're up.
Hi, I think we're kind of echoing the same things that many others said, but at Southwoods, we also chose McGraw-Hill, and we chose it because we felt like it was very user-friendly, and with the, just knowing that there will be some teacher turnover and some training and wanting teachers to be using materials with fidelity, we felt like our team really felt like this was the one that a teacher would be most likely to explore and utilize the resources. So that was a big factor in our decision.
All right, appreciate it. Timberland, you're up.
Hi, this is Sam from Timberland. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Yay, okay. So we picked McGraw-Hill. A lot of what everybody has kind of already said, we felt the content aligned with the standards. It had a great rigor to it that would really prepare, especially our 5th graders. Our teachers also felt that the digital platform was easier to navigate than either of the other two. They just felt finding things, how they were organized through the McGraw-Hill platform was easier than the other options. So that was our feedback.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Wards Creek.
Hi, I'm Ashley. Like a lot of others, we chose McGraw-Hill. We thought that we really loved the teacher support materials. the alignment of the standards. And we kind of had a debate between a couple of them with K through 2 liking one and then 3 through 5 liking one. And, again, went to the table and had a lot of discussions. And we agreed upon McGraw-Hill that it would fit both upper and lower grade levels the best. And we also really loved the student book.
Excellent. Thank you. And I believe Webster is here. So Webster, you're up.
Yes, thank you. This is Webster. Our committee chose McGraw-Hill. We like the differentiation and scaffolding options that it offered, the aligned standards. We thought that the online version was the most user-friendly, and we really like the hands-on labs that were easy to generate and conceptually understanding for our students.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, Liberty Pines.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mic. Liberty Pines was split between lower elementary and upper elementary. Eventually, they ended up going with Savas, and they liked all the activities included in the workbooks. They enjoyed the detailed outline for the newer teachers coming in with the extension activities available, the exit tickets with the formative and summative options there, as well as the bilingual options. And they liked the text-dependent questions that did mimic the FSA best ELA structure, and they thought that was a plus for them in that regard.
Great, thank you. And you found your unmute. And my fear is I'm going to be talking over here while it's muted. So you found that. So let's move on to Mill Creek. You're up.
Hi, this is Cheryl from Mill Creek. We had we also went with McGraw-Hill for many of the same reasons that have been stated. One of the things that we noticed was the essential questions that hasn't been brought up yet, and how it helps with the content being richer and really helping those students to think about what they're going to be learning about. And we also liked the idea of the K through 2 books were bright with the pictures and bigger wording to kind of help the students be able to kind of ease into and learn all that science content when they get to the 3 through 5, where it's a little bit more focused in.
Excellent. Thank you. Pine Island, you're up.
Hey, this is Kim. Our team went with Savas. They felt like it aligned best with the standards and that ELA math component for families' ease of access. And they also really liked the pacing and how it was set up.
Great, thank you. Patriot Oaks.
Hi, this is Kim. Actually, our team chose Discovery for teacher and for it being teacher and student engaging as well as interactive. But McGraw-Hill was a very close second.
All right, we had a lot of those close calls there. Valley Ridge, you're up.
McGraw-Hill, the STEAM activity cards, the online labs, vocab was a strong point as well.
Thank you much. Palm Valley.
Hey there. McGraw-Hill was our school's choice. Again, for younger kids, very kid-friendly, developmentally appropriate. For the older kids, better pictures and images. Teachers love the resources too. So McGraw-Hill is our choice.
Excellent. And last but not least, at least from the schools, Freedom Crossing.
Hi, this is Wanda. Our committee chose McGraw-Hill as well. It was pretty resounding. And also to echo, it was about the essential questions. We felt that they were really added a lot to the programs for each of the grade levels. Really loved the fact that the textbook was one textbook and very colorful, especially for those primary K through 2 grades, as well as the 3 through 5. Felt that it was the program was very easy to navigate online, and also with the textbook, they were really great. Of course, they decide to make an announcement right when I unmute. I've been muted for like 20 minutes. Okay. So the textbooks at the text at the end of the chapter assessments were pretty comprehensive, and we just our one of our favorite supplemental things were the interactive notebooks as well, which nobody had mentioned. So we chose Savvis pretty much hands down. And it was we chose McGraw-Hill pretty much hands down, but it was very close, the second and third between the other two.
That makes me think about when that goes off, when you're doing a formal evaluation and technology is not working in front of your principal. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. So, but thank you for your feedback. We have some additional community members. If you would like to share your feedback, I'd like to open the floor to you as well.
Hi, my daughter goes to Piccolata Crossing, and I reviewed the books, and I really liked McGraw-Hill as well. I liked the STEM sections, and then it overall just seemed like really informative and more content driven, and less like fill in the blank type of stuff. So that was my favorite as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Hi,
All
this
right.
is
Oh,
Stacy.
go ahead. Sorry.
I also went into the schools and reviewed the books. I really didn't see a huge difference between McGraw-Hill and Savas. I thought they'd both be great. I did informally talk to some of my teacher friends, and they seemed to lean towards Savas. And one of the points they brought up was that that one didn't require as much computer work, and some of our classrooms are not fully functioning with a full set of computers.
Excellent, thank you. Our friends from ESC or ESOL. All right, well, Dr. Lawson, before we turn it over to the poll, I want to reiterate to you guys how much I appreciate this feedback too. I like to joke around that in my title, I have science in all caps and social studies in lowercase. I'm a science teacher. So I don't really have the words to express how appreciative I am of this feedback and how deep you dove into all of these resources. So I thank you guys again, and I will thank you when we wrap it up. So Dr. Lawson, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're going to get our poll up. I want to reiterate to you all that we are looking to adopt it as a K-5 resource. And this is a recommendation to the board, so it's not necessarily indicative of what will happen, but we will make our recommendation based on this poll. But it is a K-5 resource, unlike social studies in the past where we had a K2 and a 3-5. So this process is specifically for K-5, one resource. And I will mute and turn it over to you, Dr. Lawson.
All right, thank you. I do want to note that we currently have 26 voting participants. We did have one community member that needed to leave. So the poll results will have 26. So I will launch the poll momentarily. Please vote only for your top choice. You only have one option. One vote per se. So as soon as I launch it, if you don't see the poll, please unmute and let us know so we can make sure we have the correct number of responses for everyone who is here. And I'm going to launch the poll now. If you will please go ahead and raise your hand when you have completed voting, that will let me know that everyone successfully voted who is supposed to vote. I appreciate it. It looks like I have 26 votes on the poll and 26 hands raised. If you can go ahead and lower your hand at this time. I have everyone has voted. All right. I'm going to go ahead and lower everyone's hand who still has their hand up. And then I will share the results so that you can see the results on your screen. Again, you as a participant will be able to see the results on your screen. However, the people who are watching our live stream will not see the results. So I will read those aloud. All right, you should see the results on your screen right now. We had 26 participants voting. We had 1 of 26 voting for Discovery Education at 4%, 6 of 26 voting for Savas at 23%, and 19 of 26 voting for McGraw-Hill at 73%. I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Zimmerman.
All right. So again, we're going to make our recommendations here to the board with our top 2, but no surprises here. McGraw-Hill looks like they came out on top, followed by Savas. So I don't have anything else to say other than, again, thank you. And I'm not sure if ERMS's
Did you want to
department
say
needs
something?
to share. Was that me? Were you asking me?
No, sorry. I'm making sure Ms. Dixon didn't want to say any
Okay.
closing words.
But again, I thank you guys for all of your hard work. I know it feels like it was going on forever. We're getting closer and closer to the process. So thank you again. I appreciate it. Does Ms. Dixon have anything she wanted to share with the group?
Yes, I did want to say thank you so much, Mr. Zimmerman, for your hard work, and each of our points of contact, our parents and community members, those that participated on our school committees, and those that were able to review the resources and provide input during our initial review. We are so grateful for your input. Parental involvement is really important to us. Thank you, Ms. Steffen, for your leadership, and each of you for all the extra time that you took out of your days to support this science adoption. We look forward to providing you with the materials once they are, whichever materials are officially adopted by our school board. Later on, we'll let you know, and then we hope to begin using these resources in our 25-26 school year. Thank you, everyone. You've been amazing.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience and working with all the technology.